Hello, this is Gloria, and I'm back with another Dylan's video. I titled my last video, I feel so spoiled right now. And then I'm just like, thanks, Sexled Up, thanks. You make me feel like a masochist. Except I'm not. If I was, there wouldn't be an issue. But clearly there is a problem here. Anyway, I don't like pain. I know that my pain threshold isn't the lowest in the world, but that's just because of how damaged I was as a child. Not as damaged as some people. Not naming names, but I was still pretty damaged, and I will be honest. I just don't really feel like I was born into a society that taught me how to function as an adult. Like, seriously, am I supposed to know how I deal with this and that? Okay, I know I'm 30, but I grew up as an abnormal child. I'm an outlier. I'm an outcast, basically. The system didn't teach me how to survive. I'm different. My skill set is different. I can contribute something to society, but society has to decide that people like me are still valuable. People like me cannot be dehumanized, and my experiences cannot be laughed at if I am to one day become a functional adult. Though, to be fair, I'm not exactly not functioning, but that's a subjective opinion that I don't seem to be functioning very well. Well, in reality, I think there are a lot of people that would be handling my situation in a much worse way than I am. And, wow, this player really, this sword player bricked. You know, I didn't even know that Sora and his archetype could brick. But I did learn this yesterday. Actually, it's past midnight, so I guess we're talking about Tuesday instead. Anyway, like I said, I didn't know his deck could brick, but... Oh, I see. Well, Kite Raid was in the graveyard. That's probably why he hasn't done anything yet. Alright, never mind, but I still feel like that for the time this still lasted, I was hoping I'd win. Even though I'm kind of in the middle of a rant and I don't really give two shits if I lose or win. Which is a surprise considering I really do want to max out my level. However, I'm kind of putting that on the back burner. Maybe next year I can try harder. And also there are so many tournaments in this game every month that I can pretty much try this any tournament. This feels like one of those what would I say that? What would I call this? It's basically like there are mini tournaments. And then there is the tournament of the year. This is like the tournament of the year. And I feel like next year I should probably just wait. I should probably wait until next year and see if I'm feeling better about participating. I mean, I could still technically try. And to be fair, I'm not exactly sure that I'm done trying. But I really just don't know if it's a good idea. Maybe in my best interest to stop trying to max out. I mean, yes, I've recorded a bunch of videos of me ultimately failing at maxing out. But this is not about duelist exhaustion. Somehow, I'm not sure how I haven't reached that point. But, well, And I did say when I started recording that It was time to see how much I love this game. So, how much do I love this game? Apparently enough to keep recording even though I'm claiming to be in so much pain. I'm not even sure that painkillers would help. I don't even want to take those. I don't trust them. They could do all kinds of shit to me. Guys, trust me. There are things about my life that professionals just can't treat. Like anhedonia. Professionals have no idea how to treat that. No idea at all. And that's a serious problem because it leaves me in the position where I'm basically willing to live with partial anhedonia because I can function. I can function, so I don't want to tempt anything by trying to get treatment for it. But I also don't want to do certain things that might worsen it. Like, take certain substances that I discussed in therapy recently that I really want to stay around. There are things that I really don't ever want to go into. And now, the reason that I'm in this situation is simple. I've got anhedonia. I want to avoid a bunch of things that I've heard have given it to people. Now, I didn't develop anhedonia because of any kind of drug, but I don't want to take my chances. You know? Okay, so who's... Okay. Oh my god, Carly. Well, this is the evil version, so, okay. I get it. Evil version is evil. However, unless you get rid of my field spell, I'm winning. I'm winning, sure. Like there can be no way of negating this. You know, this is very strange. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that my opponent's card is still on the field. But at the same time, I just don't have the energy to bother reading. A lot of people lose because they don't read. But in my case, I think I've got a proper situation for... I've got an argument for why I'm not reading. Is it a good argument? No. It's actually a bad one, but it's still an argument. It may be a bad argument, but it's still an argument. In any case, I still think I'm about to win. The fact I can play this game and you understand what I'm saying, and you also see me making moves that sort of make sense, it's actually very interesting. Because it's like I'm just playing this on autopilot. Against players that are kicking my ass mostly, but that's not different from the other videos I've recorded so far. I've just changed the point of my focus. I think I'm about done ranting, but there are just so many things that I experience that most people don't. And I don't feel like that has to be something that people judge necessarily. And now, as a soul bonder, I think it can be very terrifying to imagine someone talking to you inside of your head. I think a lot of people may find the idea very terrifying, but I'm actually the opposite. If I'm alone in my head, that's like the most terrifying thing ever. And while there may be reasons to consider other things just as terrifying, the worst part about what I experience is, well, yes, I'm experiencing something that is legitimately pretty terrifying for people, but for me, it's more frightening to be alone in my head. I mean, I'm diagnosed with depression. I experience a lot of subjective bullshit that's actually terrifying. So having people that aren't my worst nightmare, which, you know, I tend to be my worst nightmare, let's be real. I take that to extremes. So extreme that it gave me anhedonia. It's definitely not a pleasant story, but this is who I am now, and I'm very fortunate that I even have hobbies. I'm also fortunate that I can even function, even half as well as I do now. Just the mere fact that people may not be able to be sure that I actually have anhedonia is also a point of privilege, because most people with anhedonia aren't able to do this. And the fact that I am doing this is just saying how partial it is. But a lot of the intensity that I'm experiencing inside of my body right now, I think that has a lot to do with it. That because what I'm experiencing is unusual and not normal for the average person, it's kind of canceling out some of the usual effects from anhedonia. This doesn't mean that I was never crippled by it, because I was. That's how I learned what caused it, by the way, because I didn't change a thing. And when I learned what was causing it, my response was to take energy boosting pills. I do not advise that anyone do this, but it did help, but at the cost of, well, I did overdose a bit on caffeine. It was a very minor overdose. Let's be real. I have a headache now. Well, this is pretty much how I felt when I was having withdrawal symptoms from caffeine. I quit cold turkey because of that overdose. And I have not touched caffeine since McDonald's gave me Sprite. Wait, does Sprite have caffeine in it? I can't remember because I hate soda beverages now. You think I'm joking, but I'm actually quite serious. I hate soda beverages. I used to love them. I used to drink them a lot, but now I drink primarily water. And this is just another reason why I think that what I'm experiencing is not just another health issue that a doctor can address. Because people don't just randomly stop liking soda out of the blue at random. I mean, sure, they can stop doing that because it's unhealthy, but normally it's the healthy thing that gets them to stop. It's not, oh, they just suddenly hate soda, so they're going to stop drinking it. In my case, it was that I just stopped liking the taste of it. And I also don't like Oreos anymore for some reason, though I had an Oreo blizzard that I was able to eat, which was interesting, because there are Oreos in that. I'm not sure how I managed to pull it off, but sure. In any case, there are things that I've given up, and there are things about me that have changed. Like, I think my emotional intelligence has gone up. I'm not sure if it's average and other people have just gotten worse because of capitalism, but I think I'm about average, if we're going to be honest here. I think that I still fall short in the recognition of body language and all sorts of other visual cues. I mean, I am diagnosed with autism, and I still have a lot to learn about socializing with other people. But my emotional intelligence is better than some of the shit I've seen on the internet. I mean from people. Well, okay, I guess the internet counts. I wasn't going to talk about the internet, but okay, sure. People on the internet can be complete douchebags, so I guess I'm not too surprised that I would bring that up. But I have become someone completely different. If this was just a health issue that I go to the doctor, they fix it, I think that I'd pretty much have the same personality. Now, there is a difference between maturity and whatever I'm dealing with, and I honestly think it's a bit of both. I think it's both. And the reason that I think it's both is because, well, if I didn't have a bunch of bullshit going on with me that wasn't common, I would have snapped. I would have snapped already, but I haven't. Because of things that I've researched about what I'm dealing with, and because of the responsibility I have to control myself as an adult. And it's actually very interesting that I've been able to keep this up, because I never thought that I would be able to, especially when at some point I felt like I was just going to lose my shit. And then after one therapist appointment, I was like, okay, I feel better now. Really? I had to get an emergency therapist appointment just to feel better right after that. Okay, interesting. But it's just a thing. Like, for some reason, I have a very there are a lot of things I blame society for, but society is not the reason that I'm in this current situation. Well, I guess to some extent I can blame them for my social difficulties, but I won't, because I don't think that I can exclusively blame society for that. I also can't blame the pandemic for it either. So if I wanted to do that, well, I can't, because the pandemic is not responsible. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I have a lot of self-control. I am very good at controlling my emotions. And when I show emotion, it's generally a healthy amount. And I have an unusual amount of pride associated with my ability to do this. And it's very difficult to understand why I would have pride around this, considering some of the things I've said, but it's pretty much just I've got pride associated with my ability to control myself. And I don't blame society for this. And now it may have given me the idea, but I'm definitely not just... There's definitely more going on than just social norms. It's a very strange situation to be in, because when you think about it, I don't actually seem to have as much self-control as you would expect, but that's because I am more emotional in my videos intentionally. Now you have to understand that I'm doing this on purpose, to give myself an emotional outlet, to give me a chance to learn how to express my emotions in a healthy way. Not in a way that is overly controlled, but a way that is healthy and acceptable in social settings. And I believe that my anger is pretty much about as least acceptable as possible. So I've got a lot of pride regarding my emotion there. I've got some pride regarding my ability to just not cry in public, but I don't think I've got as much pride over that, because under the right circumstances, I absolutely would. I would cry in public if the circumstances were indeed bad enough. And now they haven't been bad enough, apparently, but I'm not as hesitant about showing my emotional side. Because the whole point of me actually having this channel is learning to express myself. In a healthy way, of course, but that can be difficult in a society that doesn't seem to value emotional expression as much as it should. It seems to be that emotional expression is being reduced in favor of earning more money, which I don't think anyone can argue with. People have less free time than they used to. My privilege does not mean I am spared from this understanding. I know that people have less free time, and quite frankly, it's kind of a problem. I think a lot of things in society are issues. Now, do I think that society is going to continue having these issues instead of doing something about them? Yes, actually I do. I don't expect these issues to actually get addressed anytime soon. But there is the possibility that eventually things do get better and I can resume some level of normalcy when it comes to my social life. I don't know what that form would take in me, to be fair, because my social life seems to be falling apart. This doesn't mean it's actually going to. It's probably just in my imagination that this is happening. And if so, that's perfectly normal for me to just completely overthink things like this. It's not normal for me to act like everything's just fine, but I feel like this is something that I just have to do. Okay, this is ridiculous, I must be completely honest. He used Wall of Disruption on my monster, and my monster has that attack back. So he's probably just played another one. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I think that capitalism has done a lot to what people can do to their life. There's a lot in modern society that really there's nothing that can be done. You know what? This is ridiculous. Anyway, although I still believe it's true in this current situation that I am I'm in the middle of doing someone that I can't get through their field. I can't get through them to deal with remaining life point damage, but, you know. In any case, people have less free time, and I know about it, because I'm able to actually see the effects of what's going on to people. People are dealing with a lot in their lives right now. And I know that the pandemic has worsened that, but that was happening before the pandemic started. So I know that this has been going on for a long time, and humans can't keep this up. At some point, things have got to change back to the way they were. Humans may experience a technological downgrade because of what they've been doing, but at some point, shit has got to change. And I'm not sure when this will happen. I'm not sure if I'll be alive to see it happen. But I know that things seem to be collapsing in the United States at the very least. And now, if you ask me, I think that the English language is overdue for, a situation where it's actually we need our own word that means death from overworking yourself. Death by overwork. Now the Japanese language has a word like this. Now the English language does not yet. And I think that the United States is headed towards similar toxic norms. And now I don't think it's going to be as toxic as it could be. Because if we're being completely fair, I just don't really think that the United States is ever going to be at the level of work toxicity as the Japanese culture. But that doesn't mean that we don't still need a word for it, because how many people have died at work since the virus has started? How many people have died? I'm not sure, but I know there are some people out there that have. Okay, so I have to look at something real quick. Okay, I need a way out of this situation because it's quite frankly not helpful. It's not helpful at all. Although to be honest, it actually looks like I could deck out. Anyway, I've got the sacrifices. I just have my monsters are too powerful. Yeah, imagine your monsters being too powerful in a duel. Usually my monsters aren't powerful enough. And I've got monsters in my hand that could help with this, but I've got monsters on my field that are still too powerful to be summoned without a tribute. Yeah, this is so bad. Anyway, I can't end this video until the duel is over. And Odion is the kind of person... Okay. Well, you gave me that. Well, I can pretty much say that this is probably his endgame here. The goal he has is to destroy me with Lava Golem. Alright, sure. Go ahead and try. You may have given me this card. I may lose life points, but are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? You know, if I draw a card that requires a tribute summon, Lava Golem is going to be one of them. But I now see my opponent's win condition. His win condition is I do not have the cards to get past his monsters. Which, to be honest, is trash. And a pretty bad strategy in general. But we're going to see if I can get past this. Somehow. We're going to have to see, guys. We're going to have to see. You know. There may be another way out of this. But I'm going to have to check. This is a risk because I could fail. And because what I'm trying to do involves a card that is permanently face down. But I think it could work. Of course, no, it doesn't. But now I've accidentally gotten that card on the field. Which is bad. Oh well, that's fine. So, again, I can't end the video until this duel is over. And now I could decide to end the duel now, but why? Why? He has Lava Golem as a win condition. Well, he just changed the game. And wait a minute, what? I'm actually surprised I could even activate that. I'm not sure it did anything because that wasn't a fiend type, was it? I think it was a pyro type. Hold on, let me look at it. I don't have the ability to look at it in game, so I'm going to check that out in the next video. Because that's going to wrap things up for this video now that my duel against Odion is over.